Okay. Well, I guess let's go ahead and get started here. So, my name is CC, and I do speedrunning documentary kind of videos. So,
Yep, that's what's up.
and you are.
I am Ticeman12 on Twitch, or Iceman. I play Melee, but I also played Ratchet and Clank 1 NG Plus during a time when the game was very dead. But yeah, that's who I am.
I don't know if I would say when it was dead, but it was definitely in its very early.
It was very dead when I started playing. Like there was only like two relevant runs. There was the Synox run at the first AGDQ, and there was Infi's run. And like when I started playing the game, like actually no one was playing it. Like I'm like 100% positive that I was like one of the few people who was like actually trying to play the category and whatnot.
You're not wrong.
So
there definitely wasn't a lot of people around at that time.
yeah, so it was pretty dead at the point I started. But yeah, it's definitely like way bigger now than it used
to be. For sure. From what I've seen of Ratchet history, it seems it's kind of a strange thing because it seemed really popular back in like 2004 or something. Like it was lots of people talking about it on SDA, and then like literally nobody did anything.
And it literally dropped off a cliff. Like I think there's like a point where it just like dropped off a cliff, and it's like it's kind of a shame too, honestly. Like I'm actually really surprised that like when I picked up the game in like 2012, 2013, there was still just like so much stuff that hadn't been figured out about. Like, there was still like so many stuff, like not just in like the speedrunning sense. Like there's just like a lot of things that like people didn't know about. Like infinite jumps didn't even get discovered till like I don't know exactly when. I want to say it's like 2013, 14, which is like pretty crazy considering like how long
like even just basic movement stuff. I was talking to Slaughter earlier.
Yeah.
And Slaughter was telling me like, oh yeah, like just like basic movement, like neutral jumps.
Yeah, doing like neutral jumps so that you like gain momentum. Yeah, that was like discovered like right after I stopped running, I think. So that's probably like 2013. Although like I think like I kind of like it was kind of known that it existed, but like people weren't using it consistently. They weren't like I feel like I'd seen it before, but it was like it wasn't something that like anyone had like a guide on or anything like that.
Exactly.
Or like people were using it to like abuse momentum boost. You could like gain it because like there was like specific areas. Like there's this one area on Rilgar where like you're in an elevator, and what you would do is you could like side or long jump into the wall, and you'd like do that, and like you would like if you like perfectly time your long jumps, then like you can do like one at the end that's like super far and make it to the cutscene faster or whatever. So like it was something that was known about, but like it wasn't abused super hard. Versus like once the like people started figuring out about it and like how good it was, it started getting like abused.
Yeah, it's weird how that works out. But by the way, when I was talking to Slaughter, he called you the king. Like he referred to you as like one of the gods of Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I'd say just like it's just because of like the fact that I just like found a lot of stuff about the game. I was just like in a point of my life where like I had money and like I just didn't really have to work, and I was pretty heavily influenced by Silent Wolf. You know who that is?
Yeah. I interviewed him for another video I did.
Oh yeah, that's dope. Yeah. So yeah, he's like a Donkey Kong 64. He's like a SNES speedrunner extraordinaire.
Yep.
Also did like Stadium and whatnot. Yeah. So we're living together, right? And like he's like speedrunning all this stuff, and I'm like, damn, dude, like I don't have a job, like I'm just chilling. What should I do? And he was like, dude, like find a game to speedrun. And I was like, all right. So I'm just like looking around, and we go to this half price books, and I find Ratchet and Clank 1 there. And I'm like, yeah, I remember playing this game as a kid. This game was dope. And so I play through the game again. I'm like, yep, game's still dope. I remember playing it. It was sick.
Still dope.
And
Check. Yeah.
yeah, still a good game. Yeah, and then
Ah. Oh no. You there?
now I'm
Hello.
here. Yo, what's up?
Okay. Chilling. Yeah, we had the same issue with Slaughter. I don't know. I think it might be something with mobile.
It could be.
I don't know.
Anyway,
you were saying
yeah, so yeah, I went to the Half Price Books, bought the game, played through it again, thought I was like, yep, this game was sick. Then I went and looked up speedruns for it, and I found the Synox run, and I was like, well, this is pure absolute garbage. I wonder if there's like anything better out there, and I found Infy's run, and Infy is like another person who like is very. I feel like a lot of the people nowadays don't know who he is, but I was like, okay, this guy is like actually super sick, and there was like just a lot of like tricks on display in the game where like I was watching like his runs, and his movement was like very clean for the time that he made that run. Like he like a lot of the stuff that like a lot of the advanced techniques weren't known when Infy made that run, but overall his movement was still like very clean. So it was just a good run, and it definitely inspired me to try to like learn the game. And one of the things that like I don't know like why I'm like considered like one of the gods of the game is just like I just spent like a shitload of time running this game like and just like mainly routing. Like I just had like a lot of ideas on like potential optimizations because essentially like the reason why like this game has gotten to a point where it's like it's so broken because like when I set my record or whatever, it was like it's like 38 something or whatever, and now the record is like down to like 19 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like the game is like getting like so destroyed that it's like it's at a point where it's like just ridiculous, and it's because all the level designs are circular. So and that means that like the end of the level is like very close to the start of the level. And so like there's a large number of levels that just like you can just like complete in like under a minute because the end of the level is right there, and all you need to do is like because there's so many like ways to abuse like you know clipping through walls and like super jumping and like jumping off of like slope intercepting, which is essentially like any like slope in the game. There's like positions where like you can jump off of the slope and then you can find like another spot where you can jump again. And that's like easily my favorite part about the game. And it's unfortunate that like a lot of the slope intercepting stuff is kind of like faded away because there's just like faster stuff. But slope intercepting was like easily probably the thing that kept me interested in wanting to speedrun the game because there's just like it's just like very in depth in terms of like because like it's very precise because you have to land on like very specific parts of walls to do it, and it's just a really cool trick.
Yeah, I watched a tutorial I think by Ricky. There's somebody.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
forget
about right. Sounds about right.
Or maybe it was somebody else. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it was interesting. I like the idea of slope intercepts. It's like
yeah,
it's definitely what's the word before? It's not casual, but it's not inherently a speedrunning trick. It's like a nice glitch for just exploration. Like literally, if you were just a casual player, you're like, oh, I can just slope intercept jump all over the world. You know, like I can climb a mountain and then I can kind of glide over to that way. Like you see that in like in Battaglia, they used to slope intercept on top of that little building and then they glided over across the big gap.
Yeah. That's actually that's one of the things. One of the funniest parts about Battaglia actually is that like a long time ago, I like theorized that like grind bootsless would become a thing, and so I practiced doing. Then this is like before people knew about infinite jumps, so I literally practiced like gliding along the entire grind rail.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it was actually like really insane, but it's doable. It's like very weird though because like you have to like you're like essentially like in the air while you're on the grind rail, so you have to like properly aim so that you're like going up the grind rail or else you just fall off and die in a lot of positions. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think there was somebody who did something similar to that for a little bit.
Yeah, that it was like it was just a talked about strat that I had because I figured that the game would get to a point where like because grind boots were only needed for like essentially that part. So if anyone could figure out a way to skip that part, then grinds bootsless would become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, and that's just like kind of like how I like found. I just found a lot of skips because like I just tinkered around the game a lot, and like I just kind of thought, I just thought like a little outside the box. Like I was just like, because the game is just like very free form. You know,
Mhm.
like there's just like if you like think about something, like I've always thought about like Ratchet is that like if you really think that like a skip or like something is like possible, it probably is possible. Like it's just like you have to just like figure out what it is. And
Yeah.
like that was just like kind of how I viewed the game, and like it just like helped me a lot in terms of like figuring out stuff. And so
I
like
love.
I also like was really motivated to uh like get the world record and stuff because I made a bet with Otto. Like Otto made a bet with me once I got to like a certain skill level in the game. He was like, "All right, I'll bet you like $20 or whatever that you can't get the world record in a week." And so then like I found like right when he like made that bet, I just like really started going hard and like looking for like skips and potential time saves. And the one that
Oh, hang on. Repeat that. The
was
one
I
that.
found the Orxon like the Orxon skip, like essentially, yeah, the one where you like super jump as Clank, because that one saved like 5 minutes over the old run.
Go ahead and repeat that
So
section for me again, because your connection like went all
yeah,
robotic.
I cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially that like the Clank skip or whatever, the Orxon 1 skip, before they would like play through the whole level essentially, and just like, you know, they had like this one infobot clip that they did where they like use these little, or no, it's not an infobot, it's like a little these little like Clank robots or whatever,
Yeah.
and you like use those to clip through a wall. But it like the level took so long, it took like 5.5 minutes or something, and I was like, dude, the infobot is literally right at the start. Like it's literally right above you. Like couldn't I just like jump up and get up there? Like, and I was just like, all right, what about these pipes over here? I was like, okay, cool. And then like basically with Clank, if you punch out of like if like you're inside a wall and then you punch outside a wall, like a lot of times it will give you like a momentum boost. And yeah, and so like I just was like, oh, okay, so it just momentum boosts you, and you just happen to go through the ceiling too. Like there's like a little like ceiling or whatever that's like holding where the infobot is, and you actually just go through it. And I was just like, oh well,
Well, there you go.
sick. Yeah, I was like, there we go. And yeah, and that was like that basically gave me the world record for, even though like at that time my like movement wasn't that good, but I like still like grinded the game out a lot until like I got a time that I had with, even though like no one else was playing it, just because it's a sick game, you know, like,
Mhm.
and I wanted to like leave my mark on the game. And so like I had that strat. I had my the Hoven strat too, which was like insane because like I was very close to just finding the like regular slope intercept for Hoven, which is like way less complicated. Like the one that I did was like had like 20 SIs in a row where if you messed one of them up, you would die a lot of times.
Yeah.
And like so it was like it was very convoluted. Like I literally went, because like to give you an idea, it's like the one that they found later is like you just do like 5 jumps on one side, and the one that I did, I literally went to the other side of this mountain
Hmm.
and
I
jumped
have it in
over
my
the
notes.
entire, yeah, I jumped over the entire mountain to make it around. And it's funny because like I actually like spent like 20 hours making that skip. Like it was literally like I did like 2 days in a row, and I literally only practiced doing that for like 2 days just because I thought it was so sick. I was like, dude, I'm gonna get this skip.
You know what's funny? In
And it
my
worked out.
notes
Yeah.
for Hoven, it says Ticeman does a 6 set of SI jumps around the mountain to essentially jump all the way up to the cannon. Skip everything else.
It
So
is truly
I specifically said
truly
a
sick.
6 set of jumps.
It
So
is
I thought your
sick.
notes. I thought it was sick. So
It is very sick. Yeah. I mean, I also like the other reason it's like sick is that I did it perfectly in my world record too. So I was just like, all right, yeah, that's what's up.
that's right. Swag strats.
Like if there's anything people are gonna remember, it's that.
That's good.
But also like there was like a couple other skips too that I found. The other one was the Gemlick skip, because that level was just a piece of shit level, because you don't have the what is it? You don't have your backpack or whatever, so you
Mhm.
can't like you can't double jump, you can't like do like most of the stuff you can do. And so like I found a way where essentially like there's this rotating platform that you're on at the beginning, and you can go on the on the back of it, because like what happens is like it flips upside down while you're on it.
Mhm.
And so I figured out that like if you just kept walking, you would just go on the back of it, and then you could essentially just like slide off, and then you'd be basically at the end of the level after you slid off. Like you had to do like one jump, and then you were at the end of the level. And so I was just like, oh, that's just
There you go.
it's just like
What,
another
this is
thing
on
that it's just
Gemlick
like,
or
yeah, or wait, no.
is it
Is it
Altanis?
Gemlick? I forget. Ultanis, yeah, it's Ultanis.
Yeah,
I
yeah, it's like
forget. I
Magna
forget the
boots or
level
whatever. You
names.
go upside down and then you.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
I know that
You
one you're
go
talking about.
upside down, and then you like go to the back of it. Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
The one skip that I always thought would be possible, but I actually think now, just like looking at data, that it's not, is the Poketaru skip. And it's kind of sad that it's not possible. I think like at this point, I pretty much just have to admit that it's not. Um, there has to be like some insane discovery for it to be possible. Like some like game breaking thing has to be
Right.
discovered. But essentially, like the thing about that is that like Poketaru is like the worst level in the game for speedrunning, because it is like actually an auto scroller.
Yeah.
And you can't skip anything. So literally since the beginning of the time, there's just been 4 minutes of the game is wasted on Poketaru. And at this point, like 4 minutes, like Poketaru is literally a fifth of the game.
Yeah.
Like a fifth of the game is an auto scroller. So it's just like it feels bad, but like I was just curious, like I actually just recently like messaged about it, and there's like a 10-minute long video that like someone made about it. And there's actually like an insane amount of progress that people have made, which I was pretty surprised about. But the issue is that like there's still no way to get to one of the infobot locations, and it just takes way too much time. Like that, because like essentially you need to complete it in like under 6 minutes, and there's probably
Okay.
no way.
And this is like on Orxon, right?
Yeah, so because like when you go to Orxon the first time, the second time you go to Orxon, the infobot is still there and loaded, like the one you're supposed to get with Ratchet.
Mm-hmm.
So hypothetically, you could just get it with Clank and then not even have to go back to Orxon. And then since you get it with Clank, you don't need the O2 mask to go fly the plane.
So you can
on
just skip
gas
gas
bars.
bar. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just skip gas bar, and you can also skip Poketaru, because for Poketaru you get the gas mask or whatever to go
Mhm.
back to Orxon with Ratchet. So you don't need that either. So you'd get to skip a lot, but it's like the issue is just it's too slow.
Interesting.
So it kind of feels bad.
I like
But
the idea though.
yeah, that was always something that I thought would happen, but it looks like it's pretty doomed at this point, I think.
Well, you never know. There's always something being found out, and as long as people are interested in the idea, if there's always time to save.
Yeah,
there
you
will
really
always be
never
someone
know.
looking for it.
Honestly, I will never doubt like, something happening. Like I there could very well be like people find out like, oh, if you like in level jump punch on the same frame with Clank, what do you know? He just like, rockets like 200 feet in the air. It's just like, who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
It's just like, all right, well, there it is.
Ooh, there it is.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see
So,
here. Let's see. Do I have any more notes that I wanted to cover? So you ran like all through July, but as soon as the end of July happened, you kind of dropped off the map here. Is there any reason why you kind of slowed down, or just got kind of tired of it?
Yeah, it was just like, well, no, I was like the only person who was like making like serious efforts in running the game at like the point that I was doing it. And like I really, really grinded. Like I was like actually putting in like 10, 12 hours a day, like every day.
I believe
to
it.
get my run. And like once I got it, like I just felt like very, very accomplished, and I didn't like have like any outside competition, and I was just like, yeah, that's where it is. And like I tried to like, get back into it at like a couple points, but it's pretty hard once you get to like a certain level of execution with like a game like that, and like, to like actually grind all the way back to get to that level again is like, it's pretty difficult. I think it's pretty difficult just to find like motivation to do it.
Mm-hmm. Whenever Cypress and Nuka showed up about 6 months later, did you ever try to follow along with them, or?
I found them, so like I stopped like caring about the game for like a long time, and then like about like I want to say like it maybe like a year later, I like logged back, like looked around, like saw Cypress, saw Nuka, and I was like, oh yep, and then I hit up those guys, and a lot of times I would just talk trash and just be like, hey, this sucks or whatever, and it's like it's funny because like I would say like the Ratchet record, it's almost never been won honorably because there's so many skips that are being found like constantly. So like a lot of times like whoever takes like the world record takes it because they found a new strat. And so like it like in that sense, like it's
I
like
see what you're saying. Yeah.
whoever gets it just gets it because like they found the new strat, and then it saves hella time, and then it's like they get a free world record, you know? So
I hear you.
so like I would always just be like, oh well, this guy's bad,
Oh, you only got this record because of the
I
infinite
would,
jumps.
stop back in. I always told Nuka that he was sick though. I always thought Nuka was super good, but I always like I like partially jokingly, like half serious, half joking, would talk shit to Cypress a lot, even though Cypress is a cool guy.
Well, that's good. It's good that you have some friendly rivalry going on.
Yeah. And then I think Ricky showed up like shortly after that, and I actually like watched Ricky before, like I'd seen him speedrun Jack 2 or 3 or something like that, I want to say. And so the fact that like, because he's definitely like a bigger runner than a lot of the other people doing it, so it was really dope that like he got in.
Yeah, Slaughter was telling me that Ricky was like, I think someone showed him how to do infinite long jumps at AGDQ, and he was like, I can't stop until I get good at this. And so he just like sat down and just kept grinding it out, and then that's what convinced him.
No, like I mean the movement in this game is just so sick. Like that's why it's just like such a fun game to play. It really is a shame that like it's not on like the level that a lot of other like main speed games are on, because it's like it's a very insane game, and like it's like very very technical compared to like a lot of speed games in my opinion, and it takes like a lot of times it is just like frame perfect level or like close to pixel perfect level precision in like certain spots. So, and a lot of people, I think like there's like whether or not people value that in speedrunning, because it's like it's in some ways degenerate, because like like talking with like Silent Wolf, like literally like DKC just comes down to, it's like, oh, do you hit the jump rolls? It's like if you don't, fucking reset because your run's trash. And it's like, and they're frame perfect. So like essentially you just like you literally are just like going in there for a 30 minutes and you miss your trick. It's like, oh well, time to reset.
Yeah.
So in some ways like that feels bad, and it doesn't reward like, I guess just like having better understanding of like the mechanics of the game, but I think there is still like a lot of value to it. So it's not for everyone, but like if you're into like, insane like like just like tricks and just like also movement, I think that like Ratchet is like a really good speed game.
Yeah. I think if the run had a champion, and what I mean by that is someone who like consistently ran it all the time, like all the time, but like how Cheese runs SM64, or some of those other people have big names that always play that game. I think if somebody would always be playing Ratchet, then I think it would be a bigger name. Because like everyone knows Ricky, like those two names, like everyone associates those. Why I associate those with the Ratchet, but I think those are such popular with Ratchet that they are the champions of that game. And if they played it all the time, I think then Ratchet would be a bit bigger.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Also, Ratchet 3 is a fucking sick game too. That's like the game that I also thought about. Like, I think if I picked up like another speedrun game, I would probably learn that game, because I also played that game a lot as a kid. I think I played that game like more than Ratchet 1 when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think I remember playing it.
I love Ratchet 3 so much. That's such a good game.
Is that Up Your Arsenal or?
Yeah, that's Up Your Arsenal.
Okay, Going Commando is 2, right?
Going Commando is 2. Yeah.
Okay. I hate to admit it, I actually never owned a PlayStation. So
that's all right.
I definitely played the games. I played the games like at friends' houses or at cousins or whatever.
At friends' houses. Hey, that's fine. You know,
Yeah.
you still were in the mix. I think the first time I played Ratchet 1 was at a friend's house. So
There you
it's
go.
like, you know, there it is.
There it is. So it was a close tough or close decision between rack 1 and rack 3, but Zem was like, yeah, I just hold the world record in all of them and in all of 3. Like he dominates that game.
Yeah.
So it was kind of one
no,
side.
he actually did destroy 3, but the cool thing about 3 too is that like 3 was like very dead too, but there was like a Japanese guy that like came out of nowhere and he found like he was essentially like the me of that game. He just like came out of nowhere, had like all these different strats that like people hadn't seen before, and like put that game like back on the map again,
That's good.
which was super dope.
He was a pioneer, just like you.
Yeah, he was. No, I mean he just like, you know, it's just like, I don't know, certain people are just like better at certain things, and I feel like for me, I just like I love routing like speed games. That's just like the thing that I find like the most interesting about the games. And it like, you know, it shows because like I was like really into the game because I felt like I could like be creative and like, you know, find like my own way to play the game, and it would still be effective. And I think like, you know, if I tried to play like I probably couldn't do like a lot of speed games because of that. Like I just wouldn't have fun because like the game is just like too solved for me to like want to play it, you know?
I hear you. Slaughter kind of referred to the sort of era, like this 2013 to 2014 era, as like the skateboarding era of like it's more about like it's when you move from point A to point B, it's not about being optimal, it's about being cool, like doing the cool strats, like looking awesome.
It was actually. I mean, I want to say that like I was actually like the main proponent of that. Like I literally just because like I found like I mean the Hoven SI is just like it's so ridiculous that like I even that I even made it that way because like I was just like one jump away from finding it the regular way. Like I literally, if I found it the regular way, it's just like, oh well, then it's just normal. He just does like 4 jumps, whatever. But I just found like the most convoluted way possible to do it. So,
but it looks sick.
But it looks sick, and over the like the actual strat that was like used at that time, it still saved time. So It technically was optimal from what I for what I knew. So, you know.
There you go.
It's all right.
I wish we had more games like that. More games where instead of being like, all right, you jump here, then you jump here, and then you jump here, and then you win. It's like, okay, well, you can kind of go this way or go that way, and you can do some flips or whatever. So
yeah, it really is weird because I'd love to talk to like some of the people that like coded Ratchet and Clank because like, and I'm like curious just if they knew that you could just like, you know, oh yeah, did you know that you could just jump off all the walls in the game or whatever, or like any mountain in the game, you could just sort of like, you know, just sort of go on an adventure. Like I'm like actually curious.
I wonder if they caught that at any point, or if they're just like, no one will find it. It's not that big a deal.
I don't know. Yeah, but it's definitely really interesting, because like that and just like the like crazy movement options. The other thing that like we thought about in like that era was like abusing the I forget what the weapon's even called, but it's like the glove or whatever. Because like you can eventually like we figured out the like optimal way to do the first level is like you use the glove and then in level movie glitch to momentum boost really fast. And that was like something that I swear like Nuka talked about in like 2013 or whatever.
Yeah,
so there's been like so many strats that like people thought of like way before it actually happened. Like there's like I think there's like an Easy Escape video where he was talking about like the Ricky finding the Drek skip or whatever. Maybe it's not Easy Escape.
I think it is.
It was some like major. It is Easy Escape. Yeah. So that was something that I theorized like literally like I don't even know how long ago, but I was like yeah, we literally only fight Drek. Drek's like the only boss we actually fight. So, you know, it's like eventually that's gonna go away for sure.
Okay.
Because like literally all the other bosses, they just have like there's some exploit like the Gemlik boss. You literally can just like you can just like exit the ship and then kill yourself, and then it just like counts as you beating the boss for some reason. Yeah. And then like, you know, it's just like the Drek fight is just like, oh, what do you know? The level's also a circle, and you have infinite jumps, so you just jump to the end of the level, and the button just happens to be there.
That's the weirdest
so it's
one.
just like. Yeah, it's just like, you know, things just work out like that in this game, just because it's like all the end is like very close to the beginning of the level.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's something I was gonna say. Damn it, I forgot. Oh well, I guess it wasn't that important. Oh well. Oh no, I said something about slaughter. Damn it, what was I gonna say? Oh, the Walloper thing. He was saying that they thought about the Walloper. They're like, what if you like Walloper punched? And they're like, oh, that's funny. That's a joke. And then like
no, like
later on,
100%. 100%. I remember Nuka talking about that. He was like, there's got to be like something with the Walloper, because like you go like so far. There's got to be like some way where you can just like gain hella momentum off it or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. Like that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Well, that game's all kinds of broken. So, you know.
Oh like yeah. I mean, it's just like, it's very, very broken. One thing that I actually wish that we made more common is like more categories in Ratchet, because like there's like all gold bolts, but I actually think like doing things like maybe even no in level doesn't really matter, because that's basically any percent, but I think no infinite jumps has value as a run. Oh shit.
Okay. Could you like just block out the PDA?
Yeah, you could do no PDA, but like no PDA is just borderline any percent.
That's
like
fair.
The only reason I'd say no and no infinite jumps is that like infinite jumps is just like very degenerate, in that like a lot of times it's just like, oh well, just infinite jump, you know, it's just like oh, what's the best thing to do here? It's like, well, you have infinite jumps, so maybe you should use that. It's like, okay,
just infinite jump forehead.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, exactly. Just infinite jump forehead, you know? So I feel like in some ways that like did limit the like, you know, just like the routing of the game, because it's like, yeah, well, you should probably just infinite jump at this spot.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes against the spirit of the whole skateboarding era thing. Like,
yeah, that actually is like the reason like the skateboarding era got killed, is infinite jumps, like 100%, because you know, it's just like, it's very broken.
Yeah.
There's no way to really balance, like, you know, like create strats that are better than just having infinite jumps in like a large number of positions. Like there's some positions where it's like the current strat on Battaglia is actually like super sick. Like the world record run has it, where it's like he essentially gets to the platform with no extra jumps. Like he gets like from the far mountain to like the platform that's at the end of the grind rail, and he literally gets there in one jump off of momentum boosting.
Yeah, that's really sick.
Yeah, so it's like there's stuff like that where it's like if your movement is like super clean and you have like very clean routing, that you can get there faster than infinite jumps. But like if you ever just need to go up, it's just like, okay, well, infinite jump, you know. So
yeah, keep on going.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to think if I have any other questions for you. Were there, so this is kind of a general question, but can you think of any like storylines or anything that's going on around this time that you're around? Mainly like, what are the people behind the scenes talking about? Like, who are they and what are they doing? You know.
You mean like right now?
No, not right now. I meant, so you were more active in like the 2013, 2014 era, right? Are you still active, or would you say that you're still active in this even now?
I would say no. Like I literally will just stop by every once in a while. I'll like watch a run. I'll just like talk to people. And that's like pretty much like all I really did after I got my run in like 2013. There was like one point where I thought about playing again, and I was just like, probably not. Just because like I was also playing a lot. I couldn't really justify like spending more time on Ratchet than I was spending on Melee. So that's just kind of how it worked out.
Okay, that's all good. I meant mainly just like, what were people talking about? But then again, in your time, you were the only person there. So
I literally was like, there was no one else. Like I didn't have anyone else that was playing the game. Like I literally would just talk to Silent Wolf about strats and stuff.
Okay.
because
Was
there
Infi
was
in
no
that?
one else.
They already just
No,
gone.
Infi and the other people that were playing like had already quit too.
Oh wow.
Like Infi had already quit the game like once I started playing the game. So it was
Which is
like I
weird
was
because it's like
literally
literally like a week before. His last PB
yeah.
is June, and that's when he started.
Yeah. And that was like right around when I started, yeah. I think that like Infi is like he likes a lot of like just like technical games. But he'll just like go to like a new game. Like I occasionally see him speedrunning. I don't know if I've seen him in a while, but like I would occasionally just like go to his channel and he just like speedrunning some random technical game or whatever that just like looks super crazy to me. So I think that he's just like the kind of guy where it's just like once he's done, he's done. You know, he just moves on to the next game.
Okay, that's fair. All right.
But yeah, there's just like there wasn't that big of a scene for it, you know, because like Ratchet is like it's definitely like a smaller. I mean, it's like a big game, but like it's not like Super Mario level big, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like there were less people that were motivated to run it, even though it is a super sick game.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens that way. But then you had the torch. You let it.
Yeah, I mean, we literally just blame half price books. Like if Ratchet wasn't at half price books, it literally never would have happened. 100%.
Are they still in business?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they're not. But yeah, I mean, who knew that half price books even has video games too?
There you go. I just love the idea of like literally this whole thing happened because of half price books.
It's not even a joke. It's not even a joke. Like I walked in a half price books and I was like just looking through random games. And I was like, oh yeah, look at this. Ratchet and Clank 1. I remember this game. This is sick. It's just that's it. That's literally it. Yep.
All right, man. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about before I think we covered most of the bases here.
Yeah, I think we covered most everything. I would say that if anyone else is curious about this topic too, the first episode of the Chillest Boys podcast, we like kind of talked about like Ratchet origins and like the development of the game as it was like going along. So it's like it's also another like if someone was like looking for information about the game and stuff, that's like definitely a good starting point in terms of just like the history of the game.
You said the Chillest Boys?
Yeah, the Chillest Boys. I think it's BOIS. That's how it's spelled.
Nice.
Yeah. Chillest Boys podcast, number 1 or whatever. I think that was like the one where we just talked about like history of the game and stuff.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
All right, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. I always love talking about old school Ratchet stuff.
Hell yeah, dude.